And we're
And we're
live.
live.
Welcome back, everyone. I heard a little echo there, but I hope you all can hear us. And today we're going to be talking about travel warning. And I think this is a great time to address this. There has been a lot of videos that I've been watching of people actually getting stranded in other places abroad. So it was very heartbreaking to see, people just crying online and saying how they can't get out of a certain place because of all this stuff that we have going on in the world right now, that it is just whew, a little too much. Um, I want to start off by saying the White House has blocked an intelligence report that was supposed to be issued for potential threats here. And that really had me thinking. Did you hear about that, Brenna?
I did. I had myself muted just in case that was the cause of the echo issue. So I was going to let you finish your opening statements. Yes, welcome back to another episode, everybody. Today, definitely, we want to get into this topic with regards to travel advisories. And yes, as you said, it is very heartbreaking watching these videos. People that are they think they're going somewhere to have a good time or to visit family, whatever the reason may be for their travel. And they're finding themselves unable to get back and not being allowed reentry to board a flight to get back into the United States. I did find something that was very, very interesting with regards to the White House, as you had said, with regards to travel advisories. And there was a statement that was made by the administration. And one of those statements was in regards to some actions that were taking place in Iran, and those actions being made based on a good feeling. So my thing was, okay, so now we're making decisions just based on vibes. We're making decisions that affect our entire country, that have people in other areas, other parts of the world stranded and stuck. And you're making, or the administration is allowing you to make a decision based on vibes. What kind of sense is that? And what kind of comfort is this bringing to the families that you are doing everything within your power of this administration to ensure that these people are able to return home and to get back home safely? I'm nervous because we have a trip that we had been talking about planning. It's still a few months out, but I don't know that all this is going to be, resolved by come June. And I'm scared, to be honest.
Um, there are some people that, I talk to, and I completely understand you being scared. Um, but I'm not flying anywhere. And I had a trip that I was supposed to go to in March or April, and we definitely canceled it. Me and my sister decided that right now is not the best time to go. And on top of that, there has been people that come out and they just say, well, I'm not canceling my trip, or I paid too much money for this trip and I'm not canceling. Just live your life. And I completely understand that point of view as well. But when you have warnings all over, plastered all over the world, you should think about it twice. And there, for those people, there are pro tips from a retired FBI agent. So he stated, if you insist to travel, he gave us some tips. So let's go over those tips.
Let's run those tips down. And by the way, my tickets are not booked. So I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I've already paid for it. I'm not going because I don't want to get my money back. I was kind of like, let's just watch and wait and see what happens. But let's get into these tips and see what this agent is talking about, and see if this assists with me helping to make my decision for what's best for my family. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So let's start off with the first tip that he gave us, which is if you just insist to travel, leave behind your American branded clothes. Don't stand out. So, you know how some people like to wear the American flag or the hat or the jeans or the shoes. So, any of that needs to be left behind. Don't stand out. Keep your conversations to yourself, especially the ones that have to do with politics. Don't talk about politics. Minimize your transit. Use Ubers over buses. So instead of getting on the bus or the train, just try to use Uber or your private vehicle. That's the best way. Skip over the crowded tourist traps. So if you want to go to places that are well known and they're famous for such and such, skip those places because um, those are highly targeted, allegedly places, you know, where they know tourists go. So go to less traveled spots and explore non-famous spots, spots that are not famous. He also said resist the urge to update on your social media. And I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Not even nowadays. Like on my social media, I may be at a place and I may go live or such and such. But, like sometimes I'll resist to posting anything on social media until I get home.
Right.
But I mean, those just are my normal practices, and people nowadays should use that more. Um, as far as because of what we're going through right now.
Agree.
So, like he stated, you can show off when you get home.
Mhm.
Also, the last tip was enroll on Smart Traveler enrollment program. So if something goes wrong, the U.S. government can find you.
But
And I also want to say that travel insurance do not cover war.
it does not. I'm so glad that you brought that up because that was one of the things that I had looked up when I was looking at flights, and looking at certain indications for what was covered and whether or not it's worth it, to book travel insurance. Normally, I would book it in the event of, there's an emergency or a cancellation or someone gets ill and we're not able to make the return flight home. So we have to book another flight, but I never, in all of my years of traveling and going to different places, never thought that war needed to be a consideration. But here we are, in 2026, and we're in these uncertain times. And it's good to know that if you were to purchase travel insurance, war would not be covered, which is unfortunate. It seems like that would be one of the first things that you would want to cover, to take care of your people, but it's not. Now, with travel advisories, and I know we see them pop up and we get notified of different things. But, over the last couple of weeks, I mean, there have been multiple issues regarding travel, that we've talked about in side conversations. We've not necessarily brought them to the podcast, but it's things that, you and I have talked about. When things were kicking off in Mexico, we had talked about that. And people not being able to return home and a flight being turned around and being sent right back to Atlanta, for not being able to have access to Mexico. And then there's other countries and other areas, that are involved. We've got a lot of spring breaks that are coming up and people taking trips and planning on doing things. I know my son, his school, they like to date. There's a travel club. They like to go places and do things and travel. They've been updating us on various advisories and what to do's and what not to do's. And in fact, the trip that they had upcoming, they are postponing it, for the safety of the students as well as the parents, and the
That's a good
chaperones.
idea.
And I think that that's important. Safety is important. Yes, we all want to take that trip. We want to enjoy ourselves and have fun. We want to get out of the country. We want to explore new things. but we don't want to do it at the behest of our safety. And right now, I believe our safety is certainly of concern. On a previous podcast episode, we talked a little bit about, panic buying in grocery stores and pricing and the tariffs and things that are going up. Like, we really are in uncertain times. And I think that many of us are numb to what's going on and what our surroundings and what our situation is because there's just been so much that's happening. But we really and truly do need to pay attention. I mean, the signs are all there and they are pointing us in a direction in which we really need to be practical. We really need to be safe and we need to be thinking about the decisions that we're making, whether it's the things that we're purchasing to have things on hand, whether we're deciding to travel outside of the country, which right now I think you need to stay your ass home. There's just a lot. And while we might ignore it and just be used to it as, social media noise and buzz and, oh, here's the news of the day at the top of the hour, really listen and really pay attention. I mean, there's plenty of people out here crying for help that need assistance and they're stuck. And I feel for them.
This takes me back to when I was talking about this. Oh, we have an echo again. This only takes me back to where we were actually talking about these topics and stuff like that. And, it was like, oh, a lot of these stuff is conspiracy theories, conspiracy theories. And then it turns out now that it's more than just a conspiracy theory. Um, I've been numb to the situation. I'm not going to lie. It's been a while. And I didn't turn a blind eye. I think more than anything, I just started minding my own business. Only because people, it really takes actions and stuff to actually happen for people to actually see what's going on. But that's for another episode. Um, if you want to spend your vacation in war zones, it's totally up to you. You know, um, I've seen, like I stated earlier, I've seen a lot of people crying on social media, on TikTok, begging to get out from where they at now. It was this young lady actually stuck in Dubai, and her um, planes tickets actually kept canceling. I think she finally got a plane ticket to Australia, and she was able to make it out of there. But I feel more so that it was because she was going live every day. Like every single day, she was updating the people of what was going on and how bad she wanted to get back to her family.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that social media is a platform. And for the longest time, we thought that it was just for fun content and to create things that would make us laugh. Once Vine was something that was popular and those little 6-second videos, that platform disappeared. And, now a lot of information that we are getting from social media. We are getting from people actually going live, whether it's individual people, whether it's celebrities, whether it's content creators, whether it's news channels and different broadcasts and things like that. And I think this young lady used everything that she had, the ability to utilize given her situation. And she's like, well, I've got my social media, let me go ahead and let me go live. And hopefully this will reach someone, and I'll have the ability and increase my chances to get home. So kudos to her for utilizing that, feature and functionality,
Absolutely. Mhm.
as a method.
And getting stranded and going broke is not a good combination. I mean, people are not going to allow you to stay for free. It was like a lot of people had went to Mexico for um, their vacation spot, and when this whole thing broke out with the actual leader of the cartel allegedly in Mexico, there were a lot of people just stuck there. There was a plane that was actually diverted to Atlanta. They had to come back because the alarm went off. And I want to say about that, what I want to say about that is um, Mexico, they have put up banners. I don't know how true this is or how accurate it is. So I'm going to just say allegedly. They have put up banners going out how they will go after Americans, even after what happened, because of what happened with the leader of the cartel. This is the worst time to travel, even if you are a U.S. citizen. Even if you're a U.S. citizen, people are trapped in places they can't get out. They're begging to get out. And we have to look at all those things. And we have the internet now. And I hate, well, I'm not going to say I hate. It's very inconvenient that they came out with AI. And I'm going to tell you why. Because even though it's very useful, some people are using it for worst, like in a lot of things. The internet, people always find good things and turn them into bad things, of course.
Of course.
Um, but with AI, there's a lot of AI videos that are coming out and mixing up with the real stuff. That now people are finding it hard to actually see what's real and what's not.
Yeah, because it's very difficult to differentiate between what is an actual real video scenario versus what is an AI created scenario. And, one of the things that I found through my use of it, and there's a lot of AI use that is incorporated, with my work. And I'm finding that, when I go to certain meetings and have to, provide updates and different things like that, I'll be like, all right, well, and then I plug this data into our AI module, and it literally hallucinated steps in a process that does not exist. So it's very easy, for AI to make up something that doesn't actually exist. I mean, it literally pointed me, it was like, and then first you do this, and then you go here, and then the next thing that you're going to go here is you're going to want to do this. Then you're going to want to enter this. And then after that, you're going to move on to this step. And honey, I went through all of those, none of those steps existed. The menu didn't exist, the navigation didn't exist, the step didn't exist, the resolution didn't exist. So I'm finding that. And I had to report that back, to leadership and say, hey, I know you guys want us to utilize this as an important tool to help us to get answers quickly, but we really need to be careful. And how do we double check and how do we triple check? How do we fact check AI, which is supposed to be all knowing that they're providing us with the correct information?
Well,
And so
they
that
should have
right
fact
there
checked that.
is nervous, is nerve-wracking and makes me nervous. So it's like I almost hate to use it, at this point because I'm like, all right, are you gonna hallucinate on me again? Are you gonna make something up that doesn't exist? Or what are we doing?
I love it as long as it's not hurting anyone, as long as it's
Yes.
not, you being used to hurt people or anything like that. I mean, it's a
It's very
wonderful
creative.
tool.
Very
It's a
creative.
wonderful tool that you can utilize, especially if you have your own business. It'll revenue definitely help you get more money. You could just use it for a tons of great things, but people always take things as great as they are and they utilize them for the worst things, especially with the internet. We can say that social media, they're putting it. Social media is great for networking for your business. Get on there, reach out, get people to reach out for you, all over the universe, basically, and for you to keep in touch with family. All of those things are great, but when you start utilizing those things to hurt people, to manipulate people, especially, when I told you about, there were people coming on social media on Facebook just having all type of videos of unaliving themselves or going and committing crimes and this and that. Like, all those things are not good. So that is what AI is being used for, to cover up certain things that may be true, but people be like, "Oh, it's AI." It's AI. And now everything is AI, allegedly. So, this is the worst time. Back to the topic, this is the worst time to travel, just in my personal opinion. So I won't be traveling anywhere. I don't care how cheap the tickets are. I'm not going. And I do want to also say this: allegedly, they are canceling passports. So they are reporting stolen or lost passports. So before you decide to go anywhere, make sure y'all are calling the passport council, just to make sure your passport has not been canceled before you go abroad.
Wow, I did not know this. What is now, are they canceling passports because people are reporting them lost and stolen, and so they don't want those passports to be utilized, by someone else? Now, I did have an instance,
No, they're just
to
doing it on purpose,
just randomly just doing it.
randomly. Yep.
Wow,
And a
that's
lot of
crazy to
people find
me.
themselves, getting going all the way to the point for you to get to where you're going, and then they're
Right,
telling you, "Oh, your
and then you're
passport has been canceled."
yeah, you get to go try to check in, or you are or get to the customs aspect, and then you can't because your passport's not valid. That's crazy. My purse was stolen about 2 years ago and my passport was in it, and it was such a nightmare to have to go back and get another passport. I had to have a police report, a statement, and all this kind of stuff, the date and everything, in order for me to get a new
Hmm.
passport issued. And they issued me a brand new passport number. Like, my old passport number is not good, it's not valid. It will pop up that it is stolen. No one has returned it as of now that I know, but wow, that's good to know. Yeah, you definitely need to check your passports before you're traveling. Good to know. I had no idea that that was even occurring.
Hmm. And, America is telling a lot of people to leave certain countries, and evacuate. So you have to adhere to those warnings. If you don't, then it's sad to say, but it is on you. And you don't want to be in that position. It's just, it would be terrible. I know that girl felt so terrible. Many people felt so terrible. They were
Of
probably so
course.
scared. They didn't know what to do. They didn't
Yeah.
know if they were going to get back to their family and stuff like that. When it's stuff that you can help it. Now, if there's things that you just, it's out of our control and we can't do anything about it, then that's different. But when there's things that you can help, especially in times of wars, allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly, but in times of wars, people have to get certain people out of their country, because
Mhm.
if something big happens, um, it would be a major, it's already a major disaster, but it's going to cause a lot more of this, of a disaster,
Yep.
because you have overwhelmingly a lot of people in your country. So just keep that in mind. Certain things happen before war. I'm not going to tell y'all specifically what. If you know what I'm talking about, you just know what I'm talking about. Certain
If you
things
know, you know.
happen. Yes, certain things happen before war that you can already tell where we're heading. So
This
just
is
pay
true.
attention. Pay attention. We cannot say everything on this platform, because we
Right.
already know things get taken down, things get muted. But
Right.
just pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay
Pay
attention
attention.
because we had all type of signs.
All types of signs, all types of signs. And, there's new information that is being produced and dropped, within minutes. I mean, you spend time scrolling through and reading about one particular scenario and situation, and then here comes another scenario and situation that you need to be careful and you need to be worried about or concerned with. And as Dominique said, you do want to the things that you have within your control, maintain as much of that as you can because there's going to be a lot that's going to be taken out of your hands that you're not going to have control over. That's not going to be a good feeling. And that is something that will definitely lead to, a stressful and an anxious type environment. But if you can help it, as she said, she's not, making any plans to travel anytime soon, canceling those plans. That's probably the step that my family and I will take with our decision to try to get a trip together and travel just based on everything that's going on. That's something that's within our hands, so we can control that. Because I would hate to get somewhere and you're like, oh, this little old, country, this little island's not going to be bothered. They're not going to be impacted, and they're going to be the first ones. They're going to be the first ones.
And
So
usually we love saying that, yes, and we like to think that nothing is going to happen. Right. We want to put that positivity out there. But again, God give you warning signs, okay?
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
there's a reason why he does that.
Yep.
So control what you can control. What you can't control, you just can't control it. Don't go crazy trying to control it.
Right? Just do your
And
best and work with what you have.
that's it
Work
for
with what you
tonight.
have. Yep. All right, y'all. You have a great rest of your evening. We shall see you next week. If you have any other insight, if you were planning a trip, if you had a trip, or if you have any experience with this and travel and any of the travel scenarios that we might have talked about, certainly drop it in the comments in the chat on our Facebook page. We would love to hear about it. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. Bye.
Take care, y'all. Have a good week. Bye bye.